Good afternoon. This is Dr. Rao Kulusu inviting you for the series on Inside Job. We started it last Thursday, and the first day it was introduction of telling people what I'm trying to do here, and I'm telling people about there is a way to correct our inside and reflect in our diet, in our exercise, sleep, and meditation practices. That's why I opened the series. I was talking about uh, food on Friday, how we acquire food, how we prepare, how we eat it, and how we eliminate all the important things of elimination and being more ecologically oriented, all that, right? And today we're going to talk about the second limb of wellness, or second pillar of wellness, is the activity, exercise. Which is very important for us. But I'm going to address how much activity we need, what how to optimize it, what are the obstacles for us to be really exercising, even though we are not sports personalities or dancers, professional dancers, or anything like that, but just ordinary folks. How do they maintain their health? Just by being active, walking, or understanding certain times how you help yourself with people having arthritis, high blood pressure, heart disease, all those things, right? So I was going to talk about that. Before that, let me introduce to myself to the people who don't know me. I am I'm a physician in internal medicine and had been practicing for very many years. I'm now 67. I've been practicing since 25. So there's like a 42 years. But I'm always looking for new things that we can learn and new things we can implement. So in the process, I ended up looking at the ancient wisdom in the practices of yoga and martial arts, Qigong, Tai Chi, like that, right? So they have a lot of value that can add to the modern life, especially because modern life has become more like inactive and making us sit in front of the TVs or play with our devices, and especially the kids are getting into these habits, and down the line, that may not be good for them at all, right? We all know about it, but we are not paying attention to it because we think it's not that big deal. So I'm talking about that. So please stay with me and understand the message is very simple. To be healthy, basically, move the body and keep the mind still. That is the message of ancients and through the modern also. We all want us to be athletic, energetic, and also flexible to be able to do a lot of activities and do them with joy and really having our heart in it, right? But suppose we are having a disease like knee pains, and we cannot really walk a lot of distance, then we lose a lot of activities, and then we succumb to that. So to get back to that active level of life, when you're young, you are like that. But then when you're really not that young, and you're getting older, all these things come out, right? So when they come out like that, you have the problem of fixing them before you get into activity. So how can we have some preventive measures? How can you have a smart living where inactivity is addressed right away? Okay? Instead of sitting down, can you get up once in a while, or can you? Hi, Prasad, welcome. I'll make Prasad as a moderator, and he was here last time too, so I appreciate he was here. So I was talking about activity as a lifestyle is better than really having the problems of inactivity aggravate our existing disease conditions and also really make us more sick than we are. Okay, so that's why this particular limb is very important in modern life. People are at least playing a game or going out walking and doing some kind of running or gymnastics. Those are fine, but the people who do not really engage in active lifestyle, what happens is the more you sit, the more you are lying on the bed, the weaker you become, the more tone of the body you lose. So it becomes more difficult as you go along to get into the exercise mode. So that's why have a active lifestyle where you are moving, you are doing something all the time. And also a lot of activities are not intellectual only, they can be physical. Suppose you are working lot of activity that is intellectual, that means information based, and you're sitting at the desk or you're working with your mind all the time, give it a break. Go and walk a little bit and come back and sit at the desk. That will be much better than just sitting at the desk for prolonged hours. That is what I'm talking about. Okay? So let me talk with the Prasad is here. So Prasad, what do you think about that?
Yes, sir, I agree with you on all respects.
Yeah.
I always wonder about connecting the dots.
Yeah.
How our mental, thinking process, our own habits, including health and
Yeah.
dietary, and also our daily activities,
Yeah.
including exercise, yoga, whatever it is, would influence on our own bodies and our ability to think it straight in a
Yeah.
positive way rather than falling into negative circles again and again.
Mm.
The point I'm trying to arrive is how do we connect these things very,
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
simplistic way so that a common man would understand
Yeah.
these intricate linkages
Yeah.
between the hormones and the enzymes that we produce
Yeah.
in whatever we do in our daily lives, including work and stress levels that we go through. Could
Yeah.
you
Very good.
throw some light on
Very
those
good.
areas?
Yeah, very, very correct. Because you can walk, you don't have to do yoga. But I will show you why yoga is kind of combines all these modalities. But I will take walk, for example. If you are walking, you can be very attentive of what you are doing, and you can be attentive of any pains or strains that you have while walking, and you can really relax that way, and being aware of that your mental activity releases. So moving the body, dancing or walking or running, any of those, if you are done completely with attention, they influence the mind. So that is what happens in the yoga practice is you are assuming a posture, but then you are focusing on the posture and how your body is responding to the posture. Any strain, suppose you bend to one side, you feel strain, the other side you may not feel. Well, that strain, you pay attention, you breathe into it. This combination of awareness and deep breathing relaxes your mind. That is the benefit of paying attention and really doing with full heart. That is the benefit of relaxing the mind, and the mind will function much better, relaxed, and not having so many thoughts together. So you can do that with any other activity, but in the yoga, it is implicated. You don't want to converse something and do the yoga stretches. You want to focus on that. It's like a self practice, and there is no competition, there is no comparison. You have to study your own body while you are doing it. That's called swa adhyaya, self study. Okay, you just focus and you just take a stretch, and there are so many other ways you can follow different parts of the body. It depends upon how your body is. For somebody has lower back pain, somebody has something like in the head, their headache and all that. So they kind of really go into that according to their conditions that they have. If the conditions are there are various asanas you do for them. But if you don't have them, then you do what is called vinyasa or aerobic yoga. So many types are there. But the essential principle, all of them is when you are doing one particular posture, then you pay attention to that. You be there in the present and really be aware of the tensions you feel. And then breathe into a deep breath, and that relieves it, and that also relaxes the mind. So you can have the relaxation of the mind and real good oxygenation, thereby you get good energy when you deep breathe. And also you can do various types of asanas customized for your health condition, for your age, for your sex, and all that. Okay, does that answer your question, Prasad?
Yes, sir. Also, the connectivity of enzymes. When we do all these activities,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm using wrong word. Not enzymes, hormones would
Oh, hormones. Yeah.
feel good hormones that
Yeah.
would actually give positive approach on everything that
Yeah.
we do while we are
Yeah.
practicing these things in general.
Yeah, because if
I
you
think that would give a good
yeah,
connection.
even if you do the same asana successively, first you do one time and then repeat it after a while, you will see it has progressed a little bit. So you are able to bend forward a little bit, and then you cannot touch the beyond the knees. That's fine. But then if you get up and do it again, you will find it's a little easier to go beyond the knees, maybe a little bit less. Not too much all the way down, but at least beyond the knees. So improvisation you will feel right away, and relief of the pains and tensions right away. And also, there is a new energy coming in, and because you found yourself, you are able to do it, there is a confidence that happens. That also gives you a burst of dopamine, burst of serotonin, and all these nice hormones, which are very good. That they makes you feel like, yeah, I'm doing something, but I'm at the same time I'm doing something positive or something. And instead of stress hormones, you secrete hormones that really improve your mood and your feeling of wellness and feeling of really I'm doing something positive for my body and the mind. So it feeds on itself, and the important thing is you do it on a regular frequency, then you will see the results for yourself. And because you are attentive, you are not allowing the mind to go all over, and that is the movement of the mind. That if that is little bit of negative, immediately they go into stress hormones formation. So two things you are doing: you are reducing the stress hormones generated within you, and you are enhancing the hormones that are positive for you. Both are really done after certain practice, certain level of intensity, certain level of really frequency too. So if you do every day, like I do morning and evening, I feel good after the session. So I kind of look forward to it sometimes too. And it breaks the brain fog, it breaks the tiredness and all. So suppose I'm doing one in the morning, my day goes very well. But in the so many meetings, sometimes I have 10, 15 meetings, after I'm done, and I come in the evening, and if I really go and sit in front of the TV and watch it, then I'm doomed. But what I do is I go and stretch and breathe and ease into that slowly. And once I'm full practice done, I have so much energy. I go and take a shower. I'll feel very good, then eat and go to sleep very, very nicely. So it all depends upon how you allow your body to get used to this intensity of exercise. The more you do it, the better it is for you. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Rao, for explaining me this very well.
Yeah.
Actually, you gave several hints how we can actually eliminate stress from our daily works. You mentioned you would have
Yeah.
not less than 10 meetings and then still have that energy. Happily go to bed whenever you want to
Yeah.
do in the evening and wake up early. That
Yeah.
means a lot of
Even this morning,
hormones, enzymes, whatever.
yeah, I got up at 4:30 this morning. From there to
Mm.
now, I have so many activities. Normally, if I don't have that deep breathing and all the exercise that I do in the morning, probably I'll be tired by the number of things I did so far. But now I still have a lot of energy to go, and at the evening again I will be doing. Then I have a lot of energy to comes up too. It is a question of understanding what we made of modern life, how it can really make us physically sick by, we go out, we kind of argue with people, we kind of secrete a lot of stress hormones, your blood pressure goes up. We sit, we are inactive, and we enjoy entertainment outward, but we don't let our mind relax, and that inactivity promotes arthritis and a lot of cardiovascular problems, and also down the line, if you are eating bad, then it builds up your cholesterol and heart disease and all these things do not happen right away. They take some years. Actually, we found out the endothelial deposition of cholesterol starts from the age of 20 and above, you know so not in 30, 40, 50. It used to be like that, but now it is 20, because there is so much of fast food available and people feel convenient, and I'm young, I'm feeling very good, I don't have any problem, right? But if you take the blood vessels of a young person who is eating fast foods and all that, they will have very high cholesterol, and also, the cross section of the blood vessel, you can see the deposition of cholesterol happening even there. Coupled with stress, coupled with the bad diet, and coupled with inactivity, we are really making ourselves sick. And still, the highest number of cases die because of the cardiovascular events. That means we don't do anything for the diseases of civilization. One of them is disease, the etiology is inactivity. That's why I have to put this as a big pillar of how we treat our bodies, how we treat our exercise capacity, how we really involve our mind in our exercise. All those things are important aspects. I address them in my wellness club with my people who come in. They think I'm going to give them a therapy. No, I make them do exercise, breathe, and be awareness, and also understand their bodies better, understand their mind better, understand how they are themselves causing so much stress hormones and damage to their own body. So if you correct them, make them train a little bit daily, then automatically things are being fixed. People have more energy, so that's why they move around, they work more. The more they are doing that, they find that energy is going up, because you are moving, but at the same time, you are not allowing your mind run a lot. Okay, and use it appropriately, but don't allow it all the things that do not belong to the activity coming. So it's a combination of moving the body, trying to keep the mind as you know as clear, as still as possible. For me, it is automatic. I switch on the thought, do the things, and immediately I rest up in my silent mind. So that is possible. That is what the ancients talked about. What they did, they kind of made a life simple outward and very high thinking inward. So they took the fruits, and then they took postures that make them healthy and also energetic. Then they sat down in an erect posture with both feet across. That gave them a lot of Venus return, all that. They didn't sit in the chairs. Remember that. Okay? That's a very important distinction. We don't sit on the floor. We sit on the chair. So instead, leave the chair away, and then stand up and work at least sometime. That will be good for you. And then if you can sit on the floor for half an hour in the morning, half an hour in the evening, you will see remarkable change in the body.
Yeah, these are great points, sir. Yeah, as I follow you closely, both on internet and in other places, wherever you speak, you certainly bring in a lot of energy and charm. It's like abundance. Typically, not necessarily available in every person or personality that I know.
Mm.
I also feel great whenever I do exercise, yoga, etc. in my life, and it's really a stress buster.
Mm.
Another thing that I want to emphasize is many people not may not be attending this session, but if, since you leave this in a recording, it
Mm.
would be very useful for others to follow
Yeah.
and learn from your experience and guidance to make their lives better, healthy lifestyles rather. And also, for me, excuse me, on a personal note, attending your sessions would be like a refresher courses. You talk about chemistry and biology
Yeah.
and the whole human physiology mechanisms in your talks.
Yeah.
So that actually makes me more aware of how these things are interlinked,
Yeah.
and it's very useful. I believe in your way of explaining things.
Yeah.
And I quickly became a fan to you
Yeah.
because uh, I worked in pharma and biotech, and these are all
Yeah.
mechanical diagrams, whatever it is, flow charts, etc. But this way of explanation is seldom done to
Yeah.
a common man
Yeah.
in general. Connecting their lifestyle with
Yeah.
yoga and dietary eating habits, what works well, what wouldn't work well, of course, what triggers stress, etc. You go with full spectrum. That's why I believe, even though that's why I believe that this kind of talks would help
Yeah.
people to a greater length, so that they can have healthy lifestyles, whether they show up here or
Yeah.
not. Thank you for doing this.
I I consider these um, mixture of knowledges as one flow because ancients explored the inner dimension tremendously. Okay, if we ignore that, and that is what the scientific community is doing, as though what they achieved somewhat understanding the mind a little bit and exploring it, that's everything. But whereas the ancient address the whole human being, mind, body, spirit, all of them together, like a hand, heart, and head, right, together. And that is really what my patients are. When they come, they don't say, I have this pain, I'm not affected by it in my mind, I have affected by it in my spirit, and just to fix that and I'll be okay. No, he has fears, he has concerns, he has questions. He want to be knowing all of that. So I had to address the whole human being. That was my style from the beginning. Okay, a person came, a human being came to me in suffering, whatever suffering, it could be mild or major, whatever it is. He could be coming because somebody died, so he's in grief reaction. That's a major suffering. Yeah, or he could be coming because he has a family problems, he is in a divorce, so that makes him very depressed. And at the same time, all his conditions are getting worse. So, what attracted me to ancient wisdom is they address the whole human being. You know, it's not like your body and mind are separate. You are the body, mind, and spirit, all combination. So I address all of them. And also, knowledge is not anybody's property or anything. People have put it out because they found these things are good for us, you know. So we better be not prejudiced about any culture, any particular thing, but then open up our mind. For me, yoga is like a more like a life, a way of living. You know, people may have used it for religious purposes. That's fine. That's up to them. But any faith can be enhanced by following yoga. Okay, so even if you take Muslims, they assume so many postures 5 times a day. That is very good for them. You know, they're exercising when they are doing namaz. They kind of bend forward and then move the neck side to side. All those things are very important for the body. And then they are praying at the same time they are exercising too. So all these pillars that I talk about, just for explanation, I put like a food, activity, sleep, and meditation. But if you look at it, it is about taking care of the body with the nutrition and activity, and at the same time keeping the mind in balance so the body and mind will not in conflict, and have understanding the heart and feelings and beliefs, and so many things are there in a human being. So it cannot be reductionist medicine that has modern medicine has become. You know, they want to treat one organ or they want to treat one thing and then they don't want to pay attention. It doesn't work like that. You cannot send it to somebody who is making theories out of your mind as a psychiatrist, psychologist, and they may not be able to really interact with you like a human being, you know. So they may give you medications and all that which you get addicted to. So my style is holistic, natural, and really combining all the modalities of a human being and understanding knowledge is a process of evolution from ancient to now, to really dismiss thousands of years of knowledge that was very useful for human beings, with a few hundred years of just some theories, or that science is good to produce some things, no doubt I use them all, but don't say science is a panacea, or don't say ancient wisdom is a panacea. It is a art of really knowing what is working for the human beings, both from the ancient wisdom and also modern medicine. That is being smart, you know. If you follow very good health practices, you don't have to do yoga, but you are just active, athletic, playing games and going out and doing all that, then you can be very, very, very well as a modern person, and you are eating sensibly and you are really cutting down unnecessary things, and you are resting yourself, and you are kind of keeping your mind really in the present oriented. You can be very modern. You don't have to learn all these ancient systems. You can be very healthy. But are you there? No, there are so many things that have come up that kind of take us away from the active lifestyle, and also good nutrition, and also resting and sleeping well. These are all not happening in the modern remedies, or modern science, or modern times. So I see that I'm smart about not being influenced by these things, and just really understanding what they talked about. They talked about much, much deeper human being. I'm not talking even that. I can go to that level if I want to, but I'm not going to the. All I'm saying is, how can you have wellness, a meaning, strong, flexible, energetic body, and a heart that is compassionate, that is empathetic, that is loving, and a head that is cool, calm, and lack of any prejudice, and then really embracing all the human beings as human beings. Those kind, that is my definition of wellness, and that can be done by being commonsensical, being close to the nature, close to the nature of our bodies and the mind, and adopting this kind of practices. There are problems happening in the modern life because the way propaganda, the way marketing, the way people are really deceived with false, even by the medical establishment. You know, why do you have to have all the medications only? Why can't you try to reduce the medications by promoting natural lifestyle, asking people to be more active, eat sensibly, and sleep better? All those things they can do. They don't take time for that, because the moment a patient comes into my clinic, because I practice on my own, I had the luxuries to spend as much time as I want. I built up the practice on that. But as the decades went by, I noticed all these middle people come, and they want us to do their way for their own money revenue, but not for the welfare of the patient. So any conscious doctor, any conscious nurse or pharmacist, they want to do good for their patient. They have a moral obligation and also really duty to help their patient. What does it mean? That means less suffering, and also in the long run prevent things so that they are able to take care of their health better. So my thing is education, awareness, and then inspiring them to look into themselves. Be health conscious. Be in charge of your health. Don't be falling for the fast foods. I don't go to fast foods at all because I know how bad food they serve. You know, but people, even in the travel, you can carry something, or even if you go to McDonald's, there is a salad there, and there is some health foods they introduce lately, we'll take them rather than any of the burgers or anything. We don't eat meat first of all, but even before also we never ate those things. But then they introduce these things so we can take them, and eat them. So that kind of commonsensical health conscious behavior will help us a lot. Don't you think so, Prasad?
Yeah, I agree with you, sir. So,
Yeah.
whatever you have explained is correct
Yeah.
to my experience. Yeah.
You see, I'm not addressing only the common people, even though everybody can listen, but I'm also challenging and addressing the healthcare system, because a lot of healthcare systems are so overwhelmed by attending to illnesses as they present. But I'm asking them, look a little deeper. What are the conditions that produces these diseases? What are the things that we can prevent? We can educate the public. We can be active role in that. We can be the examples of that kind of thing. Then you will be able to help them a lot. Otherwise, healthcare expenditure has gone up so much, and debility and really suffering or mortality from chronic diseases has not gone down, is going up. For example, you take people with um, high blood pressure, for example. High blood pressure, we create some conditions where we run people, we make them really get easily into anxiety very easily, and we do it all the time, right? And then we don't control the blood pressure by allowing them to just walk and do some simple relaxation exercise or calm your mind down. Those things can be added to the medications, thereby medications will help them bring down quickly, but then don't make them tolerant or addicted to medications. Introduce lifestyles that can cut down at least the medication. That's what I did actively. So otherwise, people will be happening. So uh, that's why my mission, my goal is just to make everybody be more health conscious, understand the knowledge that is there, either ancient or modern, and use that to help yourself. And then check with your trusted doctors and educate through education through them will be good. Okay. So that's what I feel that most of us we have to address, because once you leave it to somebody else to manage your health, it's going to be very difficult because they are doing business with the health. That's my criticism from the beginning. I have been doing this since '97. This criticism that modern medicine is reductionist; it doesn't take the whole human being into account. And one of the things is this activity. Okay.
I agree with you. These are
Yeah.
all great points.
Yeah.
On the other hand, not many people don't know a thing is how these medicines are made,
Yeah.
and they have no clue that many manufacturing processes would use chemicals.
Mm.
Some of them or many of them are also dangerous to environment and health at the same time.
Mm.
Um, I often remind people to take a look at the side effects that they describe on each medicine.
Mm.
In many cases, they would be not less than they would be not less than 15 side effects, and those are the identified at least on the surface. We
Yeah.
don't know what's going on. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean that I am discouraging people to use medicines or any of that sort. But these are all the things.
You
We have
know,
technologies, we have
yeah.
certain things. So
When
we
the
need to be
patient
very, very careful in
when the patients come to me,
overusing these
when
things.
the patients come to me, Prasad, lot of them already on several medications. To take away right away is harming them because they are used to certain medications, certain chemistry, right? So you got to be very cautious and individualistic with situation. And some patients do not want to do anything else except take medications, be comfortable with what they are. They don't want to know the long-term effects and all that. Okay. But then the insurances cut down their benefit and they say we are not going to pay for insulin, for example. Then they have to figure out what kind of things I can do to really really cut down on medications and all that, just so that they can afford the insulin that they want. Then they may listen to it. Other patients, they come, they are really few medications, but then they are very quickly take up these things, and then we can go from few to no medication sometimes. It all depends on the patient. But then if you are far and fear between educating people, then patients are taking things in their own hands and going trying the self-help books and other modalities. There are some people that are not really intentionally well intentioned, but they want to make money, so they can lead you to bad things too. So there's a role for the physicians to be the leaders of how we can empower our patients about these good things that we have in the ancient wisdom also. That's where our ignorance of this mind comes, because if you think only few people who wrote some books on thought that are developed into hypotheses and tested out and made medications that can show side effects later, but you miss that. You just want to follow this intellectual knowledge. But the ancient knowledge is not intellectual knowledge. It is about they have seen the reality, understood the reality, a lot of things about the universe, and that is through the what is called uh, s- uh, you know uh, basically they saw these truths, the rishis, and then they developed so many systems that are natural, that are not producing chemicals. Even the trees, also the things that they use in the herbs, are natural. But that lot of that knowledge is not here. So lot of Ayurveda doctors in India, for example, 90% of them act like a modern medicine doctor. They don't really know what is real Ayurveda is. That's what David Frawley, who is a big proponent of Ayurveda, he's in India. He wrote in his book. So that is true, because Ayurveda, yoga, and any number of siddha, all these systems are, even martial arts. They based on science of consciousness. So modern physicians, modern scientists do not know what the hell that is. They don't know what is consciousness, because they are caught up in the manomaya kosha, in the mind only. Whereas there are five koshas around your soul, and all that is the part of body. That means body, mind, emotion, all that one body. You got to understand that. But modern medicine understood only either it is a physical body or mental activity. Beyond that, they don't have really. But then people are really researching it, putting like things like meditation for something. By and large, it's not understood, and that's why a lot of physicians are burning out too, because they don't know how to take care of themselves. How can they take care of other people? And the load is too much. They don't have the resilience or the energy to do the stuff that they need. That means you got to have the enough energy or enough power to deal with the challenges of life. you know what ancient wisdom gave me was that kind of resilience inside, that kind of energy and strength, which is even now going on to face the challenges of life. you know so they think only of Hinduism. It's not. It is beyond Hinduism, before Hinduism even coined. This is about universal insights, universal truths that they perceived, not with the senses, but beyond the sensory capacity. And then they perceived, and they kind of thousands of years of experimentation, and then they evolved. Even Indians, modern Indians, they don't know what it is. Majority of them, few of them may know it, but majority lifestyle, if you look at it, they are just imitating Western lifestyle you know in terms of money making, in terms of making everything outside is important. They don't understand what those practices of dhyana, what's the practice of meditation or yoga and all that. They don't. They are doing partial yoga. They're doing only a physical yoga or bhakti yoga or meditation, something they do. But you got to do all of them as a lifestyle. That's what I kind of tell people about what is the complete yoga, what is the synthesis of four yogas, what is integral yoga. I just talked about that a couple of days ago. I think we have a guest too. Let's see what he has to say.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, we have Sharad joining us here. Before he speaks, and I would like to emphasize once again, by no means I'm suggesting not to use medicine
Yeah.
again. I'm just describing what I know in general in connection with the lifestyles, etc., our own habits. Before we get into that kind of troubles, I
Absolutely.
also understand that there are genetical um, um, reasons for getting certain kind of diseases, etc. Having said that, my heart breaks um, um, when I explain to people who doesn't know that
Mm.
there are about 700, maybe almost 800,000 um, cases linked to alcoholism.
Yeah.
Who is telling information, who is giving information to our global citizens on this?
Mm.
Many doctors say don't do this, that kind of thing. But again, they what I think sometimes is, we need to demand certain kinds of education to the public, breaking the optics.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's kind of optical thing. People they glorify certain things.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they are coming back and biting us. So healthcare costs at the end of the day. So why to get in trouble? We have a ancient saying called saying prevention is better than cure kind of thing. I'm just suggesting that. Thank you. With that, let's welcome Sharad to share his thoughts.
Thank you, sir. Always so nice to come to Dr. Rao's room, and he's always so positive and full of energy. So, the topic being inside job for wellness, I was wondering about when we say yoga or when we say exercise, that is just very specific 1 hour duration, which but we totally ignore the rest of the time. And like, what can we um, do to ensure that our whole day is like, if we do one hour of yoga, but the rest 23 hours we are doing something not very good for the body, then I don't think that would be giving the whole result.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
can
That's
we,
yeah.
yeah, so
That's
can we,
yeah. Go ahead. Complete your thought, Sharad.
yes, so it's a not very specific thought, but it's a general
Yeah.
question, because we just focus on that
Yeah.
specific activity, and we totally ignore about the other whole day.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And on
Yeah.
that, there is one specific aspect to it about the food.
Yeah.
So
Now we
food,
talked about food.
can we consider food
Yeah.
as medicine?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we talked about food the other day, but then your point about doing 1 hour exercise and then going about sitting in the chair or lying on the bed and taking it easy, all that is not good, right? So what I do is I kind of use the 1 hour practice not just for physical, but also getting the mind to be aware and here and now, and take that presence throughout the day. Like that, all the breathing, deep breathing is also like that done. And then once you achieve that presence, once you achieve that real oxygenation level go up with the aerobic activity, like with the deep breathing and posturing and all that, then you can assume some asanas that give you tone of the muscles and balance and concentration. So many principles are mixed together in the practice, which gives you at the end of it you feel good. Like one poor girl came to me this morning in the yoga practice. She was all agitated with her thought, her work is giving her real stress. Then I told her, okay, you develop the inner resilience by these practices. So for now what you do is just focus on what it is now, take those thoughts away by bringing your attention to what you are doing. So after 1 hour of doing all this, she said, I feel so much better and all. That is the mental relaxation that happens. But carry that, there is Yoga is not just a physical exercise, but it has got yama niyama, those are the fundamentals, and also a component of this pranayama. People don't do that. And also a component for being really devotional to something bigger than us. At the end of the practice, I get them into that, not a religious thing, but really understanding that we are a speck in the universe, but at the same time, we are united with all the universe. That kind of thing is trained after a while, but initially they are combining their body, their heart, and their head together here and now. And then when you go to work, what attitude you go to? If you are a karma yogi, then you know what is the right attitude to bring to the service attitude. That's very good for you and for other people too. And also devotional, like you are being used by the divine for the work. If that attitude is there, that is very good too. And when you are working, complete attention to whatever you are doing. And if you cannot do that all the time, once in a while, take a breath, what I call PMBB, present moment breathing break. 1 minute, not more than that, 1 minute. But then you have to really leave all the thoughts and then come to the present. That means come to your breathing. That will act as an anchor for you, and then you will come to here and now. Thereby, you put a stop to the ongoing thought in the head continuously. And that's very important to do that. Think about the things they have to do, but don't think about all the other things coming, because they come in, then you are disturbed by that, you go that way. So that's why concentration and focus, everything will develop in the morning practice that continued. Okay. So it's all a question of you allowing the thought going vagabonding all over, realizing that's not good for me, just to focus on what you're doing, be with what you're doing. And then things will be done much quality wise, and you feel good because the work is done better. If I go to a patient, that's it, he is everything, right? For that 45 minutes, whatever time he has with me, he is everything, right? I give complete attention to him. First of all, I shut up and then listen to him. And once he feels comfortable about telling all his problems, then I can have pointed questions to arrive at the diagnosis, pointed tests, and all that. But then he feels like I listen to him completely, even though sometimes it lasts only 10, 15 minutes, because I'm making my intellect, my being available to my patient. He listens. He listens to me too when I am talking to him, because first I listen to him. That's the important thing. Like that, if you go to an institution, you are working for a job, think of the betterment of the institution, wellness of the institution, and then think of your role in that. Don't think of what is in it for me. That has become the modern life. What is in it for me? How can I get more out of this? And how can I switch this job and go somewhere and make more money? That kind of attitude is not good for you to begin with. Suppose you will give your all, the management is exploiting you or not doing it, then you have to have the courage to speak up and really choose something else too. But most of the time, people are not like that. They will try to reward you or try to retain you because you are doing such a quality job. Bruce Lee, for example, he had to do a manual job at one time of his life because he had to make money. And he goes and there's a coal, I think they have to dig it out and put it out as a heap and then put it in a basket, something like that. He was doing so much work, other 4 5 people are not able to do that quantity of work because he's very focused and he is conscientious and he doesn't want to hide his strength and energy and use something. He's just contributing, he's just doing, he's a actual self actualizing himself. So the all the other people were jealous of him, but the management really rewarded him because he was producing so much work. So that kind of thing is there. But lately, this has become about some small rewards outward, and at that time we kind of corrupt our mind with whatever convenient, whatever easy for us. So in the morning, establish yourself in the presence, and through the day, come back to it, and have an attitude of karma yoga and bhakti yoga in your daily routine. Bhakti yoga means doesn't mean only your God. Whoever Christ, Christians can have Christ and that whatever faith they have. Yoga doesn't tell you to have this faith and follow. Yoga tells you you develop your internal energies, resilience, and capacity so that you can pursue your faith better. Thereby, it enhances any faith or even atheist. Okay, a scientific person also can be helpful like that. So other thing I design is, I suppose you are working in a hospital, you are the doctor, and I will design routines for you so that you take opportunities to exploit the opportunities to exercise. For example, you park the car away from the hospital, walk to it, and then go up the stairs. Don't take the elevator. Walk in the corridors, and then stand up as much as possible. If you are sitting down, have a device like a watch, Apple Watch, it will remind you after 1 hour, hey, get up and walk. Then you get up and walk a little bit. So that kind of opportunities are given, because if you allow the body to settle down in some inactivity, it produces what's called tamas energy. You need the tamas energy at the time of relaxation and sleep. But otherwise, it really promotes stagnation, like the river that is flowing has energy, but you allow the river to stagnate, it stinks. The same thing with our body, obesity, a lot of fat accumulation, all these things happen because we allow this tamas to grow. And body by tendency wants to be comfortable, but don't take resist too much comfortable, then it will accumulate all this bad energy. This is a biological energy, like inertia, laziness, that is described as tamas. There are foods that promote tamas. For example, I don't know, you eat rice. We Andhras, me and Prasad, we eat rice as the staple diet, but with curries, with pickles and all that, right? But if you eat a heap of rice, then you are going for the diabetes. I think India is the capital of diabetes, because staple diet is all carbohydrates, processed food, right? That's why it is becoming a capital of world, diabetes prevalence. Why? Because they eat heaps of rice, So that kind of thing you want to understand what are the foods that encourage this kind of energy, and don't eat them habitually. Eat them a little bit at a time, okay, and then balance it. Other kind of foods are, they enhance the metabolism of your foods. So understand those foods and eat them so that you can burn these calories much faster. So there's a in between food which is really purifying your mind, really making your mind quiet. That is called sattvic food. Those are the foods I eat. That's why mental energy is very high, and capacity to explore into the inside, inward, can come to you. But if you do very heavy force, you will not have that capacity to do that. Very subtle energies. Make sense?
Thank you, sir, for your detailed inputs. Thank you, sir. Back to you.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Rao, for your great explanation. And let's invite Aman for
Yeah.
sharing his thoughts on this.
Hello, Aman.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. So actually, sir, there were very many great points you just mentioned. So I was just listening to all of those.
Yeah.
So yeah, you are right that that a lot of discipline is required for absolute wellness.
Yeah.
So even I think that the control over mind and control over thoughts and even control over tongue is very important if anyone wants to stay healthy and want to live a healthy life.
Yeah.
I'm just here to listen your views
Yeah.
only.
Sure. You have any questions, you can ask them too. Then we can talk about it.
Yeah, sir. Actually, I was just coming to one point. Like you mentioned, that India is now becoming a capital for diabetes and a lot of diabetic patients across everywhere.
Yeah.
So even few are there in my family as well.
Mm.
I just want to know that what should be the real precautions? Like you said, that the meals should be limited, and there should be some time gap and meals and like that.
Yeah,
But the kind of medication now doctors prescribe, even in the longer term, these medicines are not that effective. So, is there anything new
yeah.
in India on diabetes? I mean, how to control like type 2 diabetes? If you can throw some light on that.
Yeah, it depends upon where the patient is. For example, somebody are full-fledged diabetics that they require insulin or medications to control it and also to correct the lifestyles. But if you are like a borderline diabetic, we can increase the lifestyles more and use medication judiciously. That way, they can increase the natural capacity of the pancreas. There are asanas in yoga that can stimulate your pancreas and produce more insulin, but it will happen very, very slowly. You got to have a long practice to do that. Suppose you are pre-diabetic, immediately correction of the diet and then activity increase, and sleep is very important for the diabetics. Okay, most of the people are eating mechanically, or they are eating because of the taste. They are used to the grandma cooking, mass cooking, and it comes from family to family. So you can also have history of diabetes in the family, and now we have genetic background. But they had what is called bija sarira in yoga. That means seed. That is where epigenetics and all of that. Now we know genetic wise, some of the gene tendencies be changed by our lifestyles. That's the epigenetics. Okay, they can be changed. So that's a very big science going on. We know a lot more now, and we will be having genetically engineered therapies based on your genome. We can prescribe even cancer patients and all that. Now people are looking for insulin pumps. That's okay. That need. I also prescribed insulin pump to several people, or regular 24-hour insulin release, better control, and all that. But what I will focus is, I focus on how can I improve the natural secretory function of the insulin? How can I really make it better utilization? For example, if you have insulin deficiency, we want to give insulin properly. For example, if you have a problem with a genetic thing, then we work on that too. But then a lot of people don't realize that they can improve the general health of yours and then improve the diabetes. So move, walk is very important for diabetics, and really do this few asanas that I will prescribe for the diabetes, but they are not exclusive of whatever you are in, because you have to know the metabolism of your own glucose, how it is done, and how much you are requiring the external help like medications and the insulin, and maintaining them, and also employing these corrections of diet and inactivity and lack of sleep and worries. A lot of diabetics are worry a lot too. All those things are not good for you. Once you understand, your natural secretory function will improve slightly, and as you continue more, it will be. For example, I'm a personal example. You see, my family has diabetes, all of them. Mine also reflected, but then I used medications for a while, but then I kind of really improved my yoga practice and all these things. Now, since 2014, I never took any pill, not even diabetic. One pill I used to take, but even that has also gone, and I don't even take aspirin anymore, because like a 30-year-old, 40-year-old in my body, even though I'm 67 now. So this practice is not like a simple thing, but once you understand and be disciplined, like an athlete, when he's hoping for a cup, he works very hard, right? And then he can maintain that. So maintenance is easy, but initiation and practicing at that level is going to be requiring a guide, or even the students I have, they struggle to come daily. One person comes one day, other person comes another day. So they don't have so much irregularity in life. That has to be corrected in India. India is like a, they have the biggest ancient wisdom texts and all that, but very few people are really following it. They are only following all the West mistakes, what they are doing, and they are eating all the Western food now, and also they are working like West with all this information technology. It's not bad, but prepare yourself for those activities. Don't let the activities consume you. That's what I'm saying.
That's very true, sir.
Yeah.
So, sir, actually, also I just want to add if you can tell me something about the use of these edible oils, and like some doctors prescribe that we should avoid refined oils and we should consume
Yeah.
more of unrefined oils in the normal diet.
Yeah.
So, is
Yeah.
that any
Yeah.
has any
There.
major impact
Yeah.
on these diabetes and
Yeah.
other lifestyle
Yeah.
diseases?
Diabetes is a vascular disease, actually. What happens is, because you don't have the efficiency of metabolizing the blood sugar, they go and affect the blood vessels, and then they can form this problem with clot formation and all that. That's why heart attacks and strokes, the vascular related diseases, are 4 times common in diabetes. Okay, so what you want to do is not only allowing the blood sugar to circulate less, but also to be used peripherally. That's why if you have insulin resistance, that means your body is fat and really not toned up. Tone the muscles is a very simple thing. You can tone the muscles, and some um, simple dumbbells, or putting some weight, or if you don't have any weight, take a water bottle and do the exercises, improve the tone of the muscles. If you do that, insulin resistance will go down. Whatever insulin you have, you will better use it. Okay, not only just diet and also walking, but also muscle toning exercise is very good. A simple dumbbell routine will do that, or simple yogasanas that are toned for that. A very simple thing is, if you stand in the yoga way, what happens is both your feet are clutching the ground, your toes, your soles, and your heels are clutching the ground completely. Then you suck the kneecaps so that muscles in the thigh are getting contracted. Then you also pick up your buttocks and the lower abdomen, and then you kind of straighten the shoulders and lift them towards the back position, and then you point the fingers firmly, and you kind of hold the head and neck. That is the called Tadasana, which is standing posture. And you, just by doing that, staying there for a few minutes, your muscles will be toned. See how simple it is. And then you can do one or two asanas that you like, but then assume know the technique of asana. There are 4 levels: base, medium, advanced, and very advanced, right? Those poses, so you don't have to go all the way to advanced right away. Allow the body to go from the base to the advanced, right? But you understand, you learn it properly, and you don't have to do too many asanas. Do 2 or 3 that are very good, and then you can sit down and do some asanas that will help you with your secretion of the insulin also. If you do it prolong it, they won't happen right away. But toning the muscles is the one quick way to make the insulin resistance go down, and use that. Okay, use the insulin better, more efficiently. Does it make sense, Aman?
Sure, sir. These are very good points, sir.
Yeah,
I'll remember these. Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. Just do the commonsensical things like lifting some things in the house, helping our wives or our mothers to do some chores. Before, women also had their chores, or men also had their chores in the field and all that, right? Now, with the modern life, we are losing that kind of use of our body in a very unconscious way, like I go to the well and bring up the water from the bottom of the well by just pushing that thread, right? People have done that, but now everything is like a appliance, and that makes your all sorts of spices and everything in India. So they are robbing the blessing in disguise of physical activity by introducing the shortcuts, as though these creature comforts are everything. I criticize them all the time. I tell them, don't be slave to the creature comforts. Then you will keep yourself half healthy. But then people develop fat in between muscles and then comfortably sitting down and allowing the that Thomas energy I talked about. That kind of reverses your health it goes down, down, down. Okay, but the body feels comfortable for a while. Then it starts to develop muscle aches, tensions, inflammation, and even the young people, I see that happening quite often now. Okay. But you're saying something, Aman? I could not hear.
Not actually, sir. But yeah, I also just want to discuss something about the neuroscience.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
even I just keep
Yeah,
reading a lot about the, I mean, mind, psychology, and mental health.
yeah,
So
yeah. Very
I'm
much.
I'm not from the same background actually, so I don't have the exact
Yeah.
idea. But I just
Now,
try to keep reading.
yeah, neuroscience is very evolving now. They kind of show you if you have emotions, what happens to your mind. If you have thoughts, what happens to your mind. But there is a science used to be what's called psychoneuroimmunology. How you feel, how you interact, how you react inside uh, promote some negative thoughts and they can influence your immune system. Okay. Now it has evolved much more. Now we have functional EMR. We can tell you exactly what spot you can go into deep meditation. That people are utilizing those to show objective evidence to people who don't really believe because they are mired up in their own rational, logical mind and they don't know beyond that. And that's why it's kind of being stupid, not allowing our mind to be open to new findings, right? But the ones who are opening to that, actually, what happens is when your mind or brain is exposed to something new that it doesn't know, you form new brain formation. That's called neuroplasticity. You can create your own mind by really being positive all the time, you know. But then people are negative, doubtful, hurtful, and all that, right? Those reactions breed brain that is not good for you, you know. So what happens is if the negative thought is there and you are unconscious about it and you go on thinking that, that becomes strong in your mind. It forms its own neuronal path. Ancient described this as samskara, ingrained thoughts. So why don't you leave the thought alone? Why do you have to bring it again and again? That's what happens in negative thinking and depressive thinking, right? They go further deep and deep into negative. So to really cure this, just be in the present, leave everything as it happens and then go to the next thing, complete attention there. No, we don't do that. We kind of hold on to the somebody said something about to us and we don't know how to respond and then we take it personally and then we go on remembering that. It's like a lot of teenage girls do that, you know. They somebody says something about them, they go and share with their girlfriends and they live it again and then they give more life to that, you know. It's not people say, oh, it's a human to do that, but yoga says it's a limitation. Don't be in the limitation. Go for the possibilities that you have. You don't have to live with the suffering of negative thinking. You can replace it with positive thinking and make yourself internally firm like that, you know. That's called pratipaksha bhavana, replacing negatives with the positive. Now, neuroscience is showing with the neuroplasticity and with really studying chemicals that can be initiated with positive thinking. So it's reinforcing ancient insights with objective data that anybody can understand and see for themselves too. But this prejudice about ancient insights, like they are not real, they are old fashioned, that is, I think, is not really wise, because we can use them. I am using them. I'm an example of that, I sleep very well, and I deal with so many problems every day with so many people, but I'm able to be helpful to them, at least be a friend to them, and that helps them to understand what I'm talking about, and inspires them to take care of themselves better. So combine what wisdom wherever it is. If it's in the ancient, there is a lot more wisdom than most of the modern people have even foggiest idea about it. Even my own doctor friends don't have a foggiest idea about what those represent. So that's a shame. They are very, very deep insights that are good for human beings as a whole. You know. They said all world is one family, and now neuroscience shows that, physics shows that we are all in one energy. So any number of things like that. I'm writing a book, Aman. It's called Modern Challenges, Ancient Solutions. But I'm not like a completely into the ancient either. I'm a modern physician with a technology background, knows about microbiome, genome, knows about neuroscience and all that. So it's a question of knowledge. Don't be prejudicial about it. Examine it with open mind, then you'll get. If you take it, don't blame the Westerns. What happening in the India? So many people are not familiar with these things. They say, "Oh my God," and then they go on reading books online and doing all that, but they never go and say, what is happening within me? Is this what it is? That's what is needed. For example, I was reading Bhagavad Gita one time, the compilation of Ramana. I was reading, there are 42 poems he compiled that will be good for us to deal with. And I was reading with my wife and with my sister. She is in India. We are both are here. So every day we took one poem from this 42 verses that Ramana recommended, Ramana Maharshi. Then in that one way to do that is the battle is not out there, battle is happening within us. How are these insights from Bhagavad Gita are applicable to me? Am I like this? Reading with that kind of perspective helped us a lot. Helped my sister, my wife also a lot. So that is the way you got to. You cannot listen to me just information. Don't do the mistake. If you do that, it will go away. But listen to the insight and examining the insight is in you or not. Suppose diet is there. If I say you are eating a lot of rice, it's not just the information. You got to look at, am I doing this unconsciously? Am I doing this out of habit? Am I doing this because my stomach size is used to this large pile of rice? That's where you say, okay, then I really not only listen to it, I see that in myself, and I'm going to change it. Okay, everybody is like, oh, it's for somebody else. No, it's for us. Take with that spirit, then it will change. People want me to say things that are pleasing to them, that really suits their ego. No, I don't do that. I'll just say what I think is right. I don't intend to hurt them, but if they take it like that, that's their problem. But if you want to know about it or want to tell me some other way of they looking it, yeah, I will listen to them. But if you say, "Oh, tell me what pleases my ego," I'm not going to do that. You know. So a lot of people said that to me that when you say something, it hurts us. It's not me hurting; it's the truth that hurts you. Okay, I don't address directly to anybody, but I will say what is happening with the lifestyles, what is happening in general society, and what are the consequences, and how to protect them.
But sir, I have one more question on this
Hmm.
because you mentioned very right points. So sometimes it's about the sensitivity of the mind.
Yeah,
So I have
yeah,
just witnessed this thing with me also. Like when the mind is oversensitive, then
yeah.
even the small or the smallest
Hmm.
word of anyone can sit in your mind. It can become a big thought. It
Yeah,
can have a physical impact also.
yeah.
So that I
See,
just want to understand that how to control this thing and how to
yeah.
improve that sensitivity.
You
And
see,
is there any?
yeah. there are explanations, but then mala means impurity. There are three impurities in the mind. Number one is egoism. Who is it that getting hurt? Who is getting sensitive? That entity is this identification. I am an individual. I'm a personality. I have my own opinions and all that. Right? That sense of agency is not really real. It's like an image that we identified, and we think our ego is us. But actually, we are all in one energy. And when you know that, then this particular egoism will drop, and you are better off because you are in that complete energy. You are not separated from that source. But then we separate ourselves by identifying with this body or the mind or the opinions or the personality or the ego. So that's a false image. That's one mala, one impurity. Second impurity is uh, uh, it's called scatteredness of mind. Mind goes all over. Okay, but if there is an entity that is seeing this scatteredness of the mind, because you are aware of that scatteredness. If you just slow down, be in that awareness, be in that real self of yours, which is the witness. They call it sakshi bhuta. And once you are there, then this scatteredness will come down a little bit and then stop later on. And the third thing is this is like a wheel over your real self. That means, like your real self is sun, the clouds come with it in the form of the thoughts, and then wheel over that. Avarana Shakti, they call it. Okay. First one is Ahankara, second one is Vipeksha, and then this one is Avarana Shakti. These are impurities of mind. We allow them to develop because we don't know how to really watch our thoughts and how to go beyond who is the one that's having the thoughts. That is the one you have to be in all the time. Then you thought will not be a problem. You can think as you want and as is appropriate, and you will see it very well. First, watch the thoughts. Simple thing. Mm. Anyway, anybody interested in all these things, they can join me in my wellness club, which is open in the morning 5:30 and evening 6 Central Time. There we do all these practices. So you can go to bapal.net/register to really register yourself. And usually I do it on the Zoom so that I can watch people and say, okay. Why don't you do
Sir,
this way and
I
that
have
way?
one more question on that. If you can help me
Yeah.
on that. So, sir, sometimes there are certain medications to control anxiety, panic, and everything. So
Yeah.
there are a few medicine related to psychiatry field or the psychology to control over the psychology of mind. So are these medicines are actually effective in the long run, or
No.
are these been little addictive in the long run?
They are addicted because people come. You see, they come for the symptoms of anxiety and really not able to focus and all that. But when they come like that, doctors cannot help giving this medication for symptomatic treatment. And then the symptom goes away, but what is the underlying cause that we have to attempt? See, I like positive psychology in the sense older people or ancient people also did that. They developed your internal resilience so that you can handle the life situations better. Okay, understanding better and capacity to deal with the situation. They taught you how to respond to life challenges. I also have so many challenges in my life, but when they come, I can cool and calm and really face them because I understood what is reacting impulsively from a peer point of view and all that, right? So I don't react, I respond. That simple thing, right? With the anxiety, what happens is if you start medications, they will work for a while. Then you have to increase the dose. Then you have to increase dose. Then side effects will happen because you are using a lot of dose on this people. And then you cannot withdraw them suddenly. You have to taper it down. That what he used to. But what I used to teach them is how can you be independent of medications with your own behavioral change, with your own way of thinking. If you understand and change them, then you can say goodbye to these medications. But you have to do a lot more, because society breeds a lot of this unnecessary thinking, unnecessary anxieties and all that, and doesn't teach what are the good behavior that you should do. Okay, so everybody is enamored by the money making, and then they go and sacrifice their health, and later on they spend money to get the health back. I wanted to reverse that. I wanted people to be healthy to begin with, maintain that as much as possible, and if you are getting sick, we are going to treat you anyway. you know but these medications are very tolerant in the beginning and addictive later on. So uh, I think we are beyond the time. I was supposed to do 11 to 12. I have 11:30 another engagement. So, any Prasad, I will thank you for coming. And it seems we are having a dialogue rather than crowd coming in. That's
Thank
fine.
you, sir. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time, Dr. Rao.
Yeah.
Let's catch up sometime soon again.
Yeah, I know tomorrow there is the sleep and rest, the fourth day, right? And then next day is the meditation. 2 more days to go on this series. I was hoping
Yeah.
some people will catch it and then they will use it. But it seems it is too far fetched for some people. But slowly it will seep in, and so I'm not really disappointed.
Yeah, yeah. Bottom line for us is to do good
Yeah.
for common good.
Yeah, that's
So
it.
I
That is
took,
the karma yoga. You just do it
yeah.
because it's your duty. So don't expect
Yeah.
results.
So
So
yeah, I'm with you also. I'm
yeah,
also on the same page
yeah,
in terms of putting out my environmental protection programs, etc.
yeah.
And these are not fancy things, and people
No.
don't understand the intricacies and benefits of these things.
Yeah,
So we I
yeah,
learn patience also on these things.
yeah.
Yeah. So
It doesn't bother me
uh,
because what
yeah.
feels in my mind, I come and tell. That's it. I
Yeah,
don't.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We
Aman,
got to do the
yeah,
right things.
yeah.
The
Aman,
good
thank
news
you.
is these are
Yeah,
all recorded
yeah,
anyway, so
yeah. That's right.
we'll get there
Yeah,
eventually. Yeah.
and
So
also doing multiple platforms today on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Wisdom, and Clubhouse. So several of them streamed right away. So
I
that is
see,
it.
I see.
Mm.
That's a good thing. You're doing it in a tech savvy,
Yeah.
savvy way.
You,
So
because
yeah.
the time,
So
right? We can do only 1 hour, and then all the people will listen. That's good enough. So okay.
yeah.
All right.
Thanks for your efforts, Dr.
Yeah.
Rao.
We'll see you
See you
again.
soon.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Okay. Bye, everybody, and all the streams.